Namaste children. Today we are going to learn a new chapter, Mapping India. In this lesson we are going to learn the shape of the earth and its vastness. You know the shape of the earth is spherical. Both north and south side is little flattened and the middle part is little bulged. You know children, in the earlier time people believed that the earth was flat. They feared that they might fall off if they traveled to the edge of the earth. But one day what happened, a Portuguese navigator named Ferdinand Magellan and his crew began a voyage from Spain in 1590. The voyage had started with 5 ships and a crew of 270. Almost 2 years later, it ended at the same place. But finally, only 18 members survived. Magellan was not among the survivors, but the voyage proved that the earth was round. Globes and maps. The earth is very huge, so we cannot see the whole earth at the same time, right? So we use a globe to study earth. It is a small model of the earth. We can also observe the shape and location of the oceans and continents on the globe. The earth is round in shape. It does not have any corners or edges that can be used as reference points. So, the two endpoints of the imaginary axis of the earth are used as a reference points. Now you see the picture of the globe. The northernmost point on the globe is called the North Pole and the southernmost point is called the South Pole. The imaginary axis of the earth is slightly tilted. Latitudes and longitudes. The horizontal imaginary line drawn around the globe exactly halfway between North Pole and South Pole is called the equator. It divides the earth into 2 equal halves, northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Equator is the basic line for drawing parallels of latitudes. It's the lines of latitudes. There are horizontal imaginary line the same way the prime meridian divides the earth into exactly 2 halves vertically, and eastern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere. The vertical imaginary lines are the meridians of longitudes or the lines of longitudes. They start with the North Pole and ends with the South Pole. The equator is also known as the Great Circle and it has 0-degree latitude. The grid. The meridians of longitude and the parallels of latitudes form a grid on the Earth's surface. It helps us to locate the exact position of places and time on the Earth. 2 motions of the Earth. We can understand the 2 motions of the Earth with the help of a globe. The movement of the Earth on its axis from west to east is called a rotation. The Earth takes 24 hours to complete one rotation. It causes the day and the night. The Earth also moves around the Sun through its orbit is called the revolution. It takes 365.25 days to complete one revolution. It causes change in the season. Maps can give detailed information of any part of the earth and it is easy to carry. A map is a drawing of the earth on a flat surface. It can be drawn to show the whole world, a country, a city or even our neighborhood. A book of map is called an atlas. The title of a map tells you what a map is all about. There are three types of maps. Physical map. These show natural features of the earth such as mountains, plateaus, plains, rivers, oceans, etc. Political map. It shows outline of or the boundaries of cities, towns and village, countries and state of the world. Thematic maps. It gives particular information like roads, parks, population, etc. The Survey of India prepare all maps for India. As you all know, when we are doing map skills, we draw directions of upper right side part of the map. A small cross line with arrows. The upper arrow indicates the north direction. Similarly, south, east and west directions. We use a device called a compass to find out directions. We can find all the four cardinal directions like north, south, east and west and four intermediate directions on a intermediate direction. Scale is the ratio between the actual distance on the ground and the distance shown on the map. The actual distance on the ground is shown. For example, the distance between Delhi and Agra is 200 km. On a map, each 100 km may shown as 1 centimeter. Then if you want to show actual distance 200 km on the map, we will show only 2 centimeter. Symbols. It is not possible to show the actual size of building or roads on a map, so they are indicated by some common symbols. We can easily read a map with the help of these symbols. Most of the symbols are common all over the world. To make it easy to understand, they are known as conventional symbols. Colors. Specific colors are used to show different features of the earth. Blue color is used for water bodies. Green is used for represent plains and lowlands. And brown is used for showing hills. And white is used for snow-capped peaks.
This is the story of Ferdinand Magellan. Ferdinand Magellan, who was born sometime around 1481, commanded an expedition of the 5 ships that set out to sail to the East Indies via the west. In 1521, he was killed in the Philippines, but one of his ships reached Portugal in 1522, and therefore became the first to circumnavigate the world. When the ship arrived home, it found that it had lost a day. How could this happen? Imagine that you are on Magellan's ship that sailed west. Each day the sun would rise a little later because you have moved west a little from Portugal where you began. By the time you had traveled halfway around the world, sunrise would be 12 hours later than it was in Portugal. And by the time you reached Portugal again, your sunrise would be 24 hours later to you than that of Portugal. By traveling west, you have left the sun behind bit by bit. If you kept an accurate calendar, you would find that upon returning to Portugal, you have missed a whole day. The missing day is explained by this movement day by day away from the sunrise until one day sunrise for you was a day later than you would have expected. Because your trip took so long, the change each day wasn't noticeable. Only when you got back to Portugal would you realize that something had happened. When you compared dates with the people in Portugal, you would find that they said it was Friday, and everyone is sure of the date, while you thought it was Thursday. Somehow you seem to have lost a day. If they say it is Friday, you have to work out why you think it is Thursday. You know it was Wednesday yesterday.
Latitudes and longitudes. Just like a letter is able to reach your house through your address, a specific place on the map or on the globe can be located with the help of geographic coordinate system. The geographic coordinates of a place consist of the degrees of latitude and longitude. Latitudes or parallels are imaginary lines drawn parallel to the equator towards both the north and south directions. They are measured from 0 degree to 90 degrees in both hemispheres. The earth is round, and so the length of the latitudes decreases as we move towards the poles. Longitudes or meridians are the imaginary lines drawn between the two poles. They divide the earth in 360 equal segments, like that of an orange. The 0 degree longitude passing through Greenwich in England is called the prime meridian. One half of the world is measured in 180 degree longitudes of east, while the other half in 180 degree longitudes of west. Both the latitudes and longitudes form a grid in which they intersect each other at right angles. So, for locating a place on Earth, you need to read the degrees of latitude and longitude. For example, city of New Orleans is located at 30 degree north and 90 degree west. Remember one thing. Although a few lines of latitudes and longitudes are shown on the globes and maps, their number is infinite. So, a city can fall in any one of these crossings.